Food prices are at a 10-year high. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your morning stein of coffee, and if you're watching this later in the day, if you want to take part in the discussions, jump on the HeiseSays live or Twitch channel when you're having your morning coffee, usually. Now, I want to get started by having a look at this article. Now, this is from Reuters. World food prices hit a 10-year peak. A 10-year peak. Now, we all know the saying, 3 days of an empty stomach. Well, then democracy tends to disappear. So, let's just jump up here. World food prices hit a 10-year peak. World food prices rose for a second consecutive month in September to reach a 10-year peak, driven by grains for cereal and vegetable oils, United Nations Food Agency said on Thursday. And we're going to have a look at some of these, future prices, contracts that are in place at the moment for this food stuff. Well, let's look at it now. We'll look at soybeans. Now, this is what I captured last night. This was Chicago soybean futures are trading below $12.50 a bushel, the lowest since December 2020. So we're seeing this other article that's saying food prices are high, but Chicago soybean futures are low. Okay, maybe it's just a one-off thing. Supplies are outgrowing demand. USDA reported September 1 soybean stocks at 256 million bushels, above market expectations of 0.174 million bushels. Meanwhile, concerns about Chinese demand added pressure to the soybean market after U.S. Trade Representative Kathy Tai pledged she will press Beijing over its failure to keep promises made to former U.S. President Donald Trump. Here we go. Volky has already had 2 coffees this morning. Okay, fantastic. I appreciate that you are having your 3rd coffee this morning, and I don't know why that didn't appear in the chat window. Let me update that. And I encourage everyone to drink healthy amounts of coffee to help stimulate the economy here. Right now we're discussing food prices. Maybe we'll have a look at coffee later. But you can see here it's at $12.45. So soybeans haven't skyrocketed. And I'm looking on the time frame here, it's 10 years, everyone. Because remember, this article is saying we're seeing 10-year high food prices. Well, soybean futures aren't saying that, and nor are the wheat futures there as well. Okay, there we go. Good, I've got that working. Just checking that with the chat. So, wheat. Chicago wheat futures traded above $7.50 a bushel, the highest since August 16th, supported by global supply worries. But still, the peak of these was a long time ago, 2013. We're seeing them. We're heading up. Okay, food is getting more expensive. It's getting more expensive. We're seeing that. Soybean, it peaked and it's coming off a peak. So it got bloody high recently. That would have been scary to be involved in. What about rice? So rice. Chicago rice futures extended gains towards $14 per 100 weight. The highest since May, as supplies from Vietnam have been disrupted by container shortages. And we'll look at that. Someone, I'm making you choose between my stream and Timcast. Sorry, mate. Sorry. But we're seeing here, again, Chicago rice. It peaked recently, and that looks like that's a 10-year high earlier in the year. But we're not near that. So soybean, wheat, and rice futures, at least in Chicago, aren't sitting at global at 10-year highs. So why are we being told this here from Reuters? Okay. The Rome-based Food and Agricultural Organization also predicted record global cereal production in 2021, but said this would be outpaced by forecast consumption. See, this is the problem. This is the issue with regards to all the fake meat that's being pushed as well. That's going to be not the super win for the environment that everyone's hoping. It's going to be a lot of pea protein, and just look at the ingredients list, guys, if you're a fan of it. Seriously, look at the ingredients list. FAO's Food Price Index, which tracks international prices of the most globally traded commodities, averaged 130 points last month, the highest reading since September 2011, according to the agency's data. Okay, so let's look at that. FAO Food Price Index. We'll have a look at that. see. Can we see a chart? So where is it? So we're seeing here the food price index. Okay, yeah. Food price index in nominal and real terms. Okay, yeah, it's higher. Okay, in real terms it's gone up. Nominal terms it's gone up. But if we look in real terms, it's 70. Is that 75? Okay. Okay. So, the figure compared with the revised 128.5 for August, the August figure was previously 127.4. So they're concerned about it, guys. On a year-on-year basis, prices were up 32.8% in September. Now that's... Okay. So here's the thing. We're seeing futures aren't showing this increase in the cost. So... is this because of container? Is this because of shipping? Is this because of supply issues? Could that be why? You know, they're getting the goods reasonable, but then they have to ship it all around, and which wouldn't be surprising. Agricultural commodity prices have risen steeply in the past year, fueled by harvest setbacks and Chinese demand. The FAO's cereal price index rose by 2% in September from the previous month. This was led by a near 4% increase for wheat prices, with the UN agency citing tightening export availabilities amid strong demand. Among major cereals, wheat will be the focus in the coming weeks as demand needs to be tested against fast rising prices, FAO senior economist Abdolreza Abassan said in a statement. World vegetable oil prices were up 1.7% on the month and showed a year-on-year rise of about 60% as palm oil prices climbed on robust import demands and concerns over labour shortages in Malaysia. Palm oil futures have rallied further in early October to hit record highs as a surge in crude oil markers has lent further support to vegetable oils used in biodiesel. Now there's an interesting takeaway, everyone. This is the problem with all of the biodiesel. It takes food. It often will take food and use food stuff, guys. That's the worry about it. Global sugar prices rose 0.5 in September, with concerns over adverse crop weather in top exporter Brazil, partly offset by slowing import demand and a favorable production outlook in India and Thailand, according to FAO. For cereal production, FAO projected a record world crop of 2.8 billion tons in 2021, up slightly from 2.78 estimated 8 months ago. That would be below world cereal use of 2.811 billion tons, a forecast revised up by 2.7 million tons from a month earlier, mainly to reflect increased wheat use in animal feed, FAO said. Global cereal stocks were expected to ease in 21-22, but would still be at comfortable levels, FAO added. So there's the takeaway there. So we can, let's have a discussion about this, guys, and take part in the chat. So there's a few takeaways here, everyone. Let's have a look at some of the comments that people are saying first. Floki said, starting to look less transitionary the longer this plays out. Interested to see how it impacts wages growth here and overseas. Yes, I mean, here's the thing. We're seeing some futures going up, some are not. Sure, a 30% increase. But remember, we have had all of these insane shipping issues all around the world, and that's going to take some time to flow through. But sure, demand is higher than production at the moment that they're showing here, but there still is sufficient supply. So I'm hoping it will be transitory. I'm hoping this is just going to be a transitory bump until everything smooths out. But we won't know that for 6 months. We won't know that for 12 months. But that still won't stop people getting afraid, people being worried, and people feeling the impact of increasing prices. They're going to have to make tough decisions on what they eat, sadly enough. It's not just, I know all the carnivores can be happy that it's all fine, it doesn't affect us, but it's going to affect, the carnivores, even though if you're eating grain-fed beef, it'll go through to everything. Dexter 22,000 is saying, and they blame everything except central bank monetary policy. I mean, is central bank monetary policy actually causing this impact? I think a lot of it is to do with, honestly, I would blame a lot of media fear causing lowering of productions. People didn't know what was going to happen, so it was all production scaled back. Now we're also seeing now the energy crisis, and a lot of that's coming from this shift to renewables, or for political reasons. You're seeing there with China. We'll look at it later in a later article today, where they're actually having to do an about face and bring back Australian coal because they're just not producing enough energy. Dexter 2200 thinks it's excessive money printing. We'll have to see if that money actually works its way through to the economy. We'll have to see if that manifests that way, because we're not seeing it in the futures. We had a look at the soybean futures. We had a look at the wheat futures, right here. Soybean, wheat, and rice, none of it were that high or that crazy. If it's sustained, if it lasts longer than 6 months, then, well, there you go. But it's a bit all over the place. And we'll see that shipping is having a big part in it, everyone. So what else? Let's just see some other questions we have here. Dexter's on orange juice. Well, yeah, that's expensive too. The sugar's going to go up there, and that will start to feel through in your orange juice, mate. You got to worry about that one. And we've got Yogi saying good morning, and a few other people saying good morning. So what do you all think, everyone? Are you concerned about this food price increase? Have you seen it manifest in your day-to-day shopping? Let me know in the comments, guys. We're starting to see it. We buy bulk. We buy bulk beef, and we try and get grass-fed, but you start to see everything's just going up this little bit, creeping up more and more. And, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it. Just build more ships. Ash is saying, well, they are building more ships, and I've bought into every listed ship leasing company on the stock exchange in the US, every single one I could find. But the problem is it takes a long time to build these ships. Thank you all for watching this episode of HeiseSays. If you're a fan of the channel and you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. If you want to take part in the discussions that we have in the discussion section of the live stream, you can join us on the Twitch channel or on the YouTube channel to catch the live streams as I record it. Now, this is a separate HeiseSays live YouTube channel. You can find it in the links below. If you want to support us a little bit extra, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon, sign up for SelfWealth or Stake, use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband, buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Thank you to everyone who joined me and helped keep me company for the live stream this morning. Take care and have a great day.